Big news coming out of Turkey that you might have missed. Archaeologists have recently excavated a tomb that they believe might be related to the famous King Midas. Was everything dripped out in gold? Well, not quite, but there were some very interesting finds worth taking a look at. So let's dive in, check it out. A royal burial chamber from the 8th century BC was discovered in very good condition and announced by Mehmet Nuri Ersoy, Turkish Minister of Culture and Tourism, back in May. Brian Rose, director of excavations at Gordion, said, quote, "Without inscriptions, it's difficult to determine who the deceased was," end quote. However, with the luxury of objects found, it is thought they belonged to the family of King Midas. Rose said, quote, "The most surprising thing is that the tomb was a cremation rather than a burial. Otherwise, our earliest cremation dates from more than a century later, indicating the high status of the deceased," end quote. He went on to say, quote, "It is not uncommon for rulers to be treated differently both in life and in death. One of the most prominent examples is the deceased from the burial mound at Gordion, whom we've identified as Midas's father. The surviving skull makes it clear that his head was bandaged and splinted when he was a baby, so that it would be oblong, unlike anyone else in the area," end quote. And we find yet another curious case of skull elongation being associated with royalty in the Old World, something that seems to go hand in hand together. And the more you look into the archaeological record, you'll find it was fairly ubiquitous throughout the Old World, the procedure of head binding. And again, I can't help but ask the question, why? It's fairly comical now to sit and look back and think about royalty of the Old World running around with a bunch of cone heads, but in the past, there was nothing at all funny about it, and it was an important denotation of being royalty. So I can't help but wonder, as always, why would they risk the life of their newborn baby to perpetuate this symbol of elongated skull being associated with royalty? It doesn't make a lot of sense, honestly, and from a strictly symbolic stance, well, why not just wear the big hats like we see over and over? Well, for more information on all of this, I would encourage you to check out my video on elongated skull people down in the description below. But until next time, my friends, be indomitable in your quest for knowledge, no matter what gets in your way. But above all, my friends, stay curious.